What is going on, my super sandwiches? Rhymestyle here, and today I bring a very special video in celebration of April Fools. And in case you don't celebrate that, well then it's just regular ass April 1st for you. And today we're discussing the biggest fools in Dragon Ball history. Now before I start my list, I want to ask you guys the exact same question. Who do you think is the biggest fool in Dragon Ball history and why? Comment below right now. Now before I start typing away and hammering away at your keyboards, I want you guys to really think about this answer because the word fool has a different definition based on the circumstances at hand. And basically what I mean by that, a character could be incredibly awesome but have done a lot of foolish moments in the series, which would to you be a fool. So does that make sense? So comment below which character you think is the most foolish and why, and let's see what the community thinks. But without further ado, let's look at my list of the biggest fools in Dragon Ball history. Now my first fool on my list is probably one of the biggest idiots since the series began, and I'm talking about began. This guy's been around for a very long time and is still around to this day in Dragon Ball Super. Of course I'm talking about Emperor Pilaf. Now again, going back to what I said at the beginning of my video, the word fool is going to change based on the circumstances at hand. With Pilaf, he's just a fool because he's an actual idiot. He had some pretty great ideas in trying to take over the world and getting what he wanted, but his execution is so bad that it usually backfired in his face and created a whole new problem. I'm talking about reviving King Piccolo, to even in the future in Dragon Ball Super when he helped revive Frieza. So his decisions is what makes him a fool, and that's why he gets on my list. I mean, you know you somewhat have to be kind of a fool if you're initially introduced as a villain and then later become just a pure comic relief character. And that's Pilaf's life. That is literally Pilaf's life. He went from being this big villain in Dragon Ball to now just being a joke character that every time he shows up in Dragon Ball Super, you know something funny is going to happen. Because of that, he earns this spot on my list. The next person on my list, and before I start on this one, I gotta say big shout out to Geekdom for bringing this one up again because I completely forgot about this guy. I'm talking about Commander Red. Now, to those who have not watched Dragon Ball, which I know is kind of a weird thing to say because I know a lot of you guys did watch Dragon Ball, but there's still a handful that haven't watched it. In Dragon Ball, there was a saga called the Red Ribbon Army Saga. And essentially what it consisted of was a guy who was trying to take over the world, and he killed a lot of people. He built this crazy army. A lot of people in his army died. Like, it was kind of an intense situation. And ultimately, at the end, all of this was done because Commander Red, who was in charge of the Red Ribbon Army, wanted to become taller. He wanted the Dragon Balls, created so much chaos, so many people died, all because he wanted to wish to be taller. And because of that, he is the next fool on my list. Hopefully I didn't spoil Dragon Ball to those who plan on watching it anytime soon. Again, this is a weird thing to say, but trust me, there's a lot of you guys who have now watched Dragon Ball, the original series that started it all. And if you haven't, go check it out. And if you haven't, I'm sorry I spoiled the ultimate reason why the Red Ribbon Army even became a thing. And yeah, it's because this guy wanted to become taller, and that was his entire ambition, which is ultimately why he ends up getting... I'm not going to talk about that part. If you watch the series, you know what I'm going to talk about. And to those who have not watched it yet, you can see what happens to Commander Red when it's found out that the reason why he did all of this chaos was because he wanted to get the Dragon Balls to wish to become taller. The next fool on my list is none other than Mr. Satan himself, Hercule, or by his real name, Mark. Yes, his actual name is Mark. He became Hercule Satan in the series, but Mark is actually his birth name. Now again, going back to what I said earlier, the word fool is going to change based on the circumstances. I will admit that Hercule was a very, very important character to the series, but early on how he's introduced and his actions in the Cell Saga is the reason why I'm going to list him as a fool in this video. I mean, think about it. How much of a fool do you have to be to see the crazy shenanigans that Cell did prior to the Cell games? He blew up cities, he basically waged war against the world, and yet still this man decided, you know what, I'm going to enter the Cell games and I'm going to fight him. Yeah, and I can do it, and it's all a trick. Like, think about that. I mean, I know, granted, if I put myself in Hercule's shoes and see this stuff on TV, I would probably be kind of in disbelief. But at the same time, I would not want to fight a maniac like Cell. Like, first of all, just look at Cell. I would not fight Cell just by his design alone. I would think, you know what, this guy's an alien. He's probably going to do some crazy shit. So I'm just going to go ahead and back out of this. But this man Hercule was so foolish, he decided, you know what, I'm going to enter the Cell games and I'm going to win. And as he was watching everybody fight, flying and everything, he was still just so like balls deep in his own thoughts, thinking about, oh, this is a trick. How are they doing? This is all a trick. When I come back to fight, I'm going to win. He's a fool. And again, his defense, Hercule was designed to be a fool, which is another reason why he makes it on his list. He is probably the king of fools, but he's not the biggest fool. Who is the biggest fool? Stay tuned for the end of this video to find out. Now, my next fool on my list, or I should say fools, is two people in one. Of course, I'm talking about Gotenks. Now, again, what I was saying earlier, the word fool is going to change. I'm going to stop saying this in the rest of this video, but I keep bringing it up just because, again, based on the circumstances, it's always different. In Gotenks' situation, just like Hercule, he was designed to be a fool. I mean, let's look at the history of Gotenks. Initially, it's revealed that when Goten and Trunks fuse, they're going to have enough power to easily crush Majin Buu and save the day. And after all that was hyped up, when Gotenks finally shows up, he is basically a joke character. And it's actually revealed later that the reason why Toriyama designed him is because he was supposed to be like the comic relief aspect of the show. He fuses, he's powerful, but he's just too much of a gag character to be taken serious, and because of that, he's a fool. I mean, even looking at the first time he fused, what does he do? He goes after freaking Majin Buu and comes back beat up. absolute joke. Now again, I'm not trying to knock Gotenks' character, it's just he was designed that way. He was designed to be funny, a joke, a fool, and that's why he makes it on my list. Not because he's an actual idiot, well he is an idiot, but he's not an idiot to the point where he's stupid. It just, he is designed to be a foolish character, just to be funny, and that's ultimately why he makes it on his list. Now the next fool on my list is probably one of the greatest villains of all time. In fact, he is my favorite anime villain of all time. Of course, I'm talking about Emperor Frieza himself. Now I know what you're thinking, Rhymestyle, why is Frieza a fool? He's freaking awesome, I love Frieza. He has some great power-ups, he has some awesome transformations, he became so powerful, and even came back later going toe-to-toe with Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Goku. Why is he a fool? Well, he's a fool for that exact same reason. He kept coming back to seek out his own death. Now, what I mean by that is he has so many opportunities to kind of walk away and just live his life peacefully. Well, not peacefully because he was kind of a dick, but live his life. That's the key word, live somewhere else. Like he could have easily just walked away, left Planet Namek, and just controlled the other opposite side of the galaxy or universe where Goku doesn't exist. But what does he do? He keeps coming back to fight Goku. That's what he did. I mean, he even gets to the point where he's fighting Goku on Planet Namek, gets chopped in half, and as he's about to die, Goku gives him his own energy and says, you know what, just walk away, I'm gonna walk away, and you know, we can go just do our own thing. But what does he do? He uses the energy that Goku gives him to try to kill Goku. That is the most foolish thing that I've ever seen in the series, and even Goku calls him a fool when he blasts him into smithereens. But wait, there's more. What happens next is he gets picked up by his dad, he gets basically rebuilt, and the first thing he wants to do, he doesn't want to train, but the first thing he wants to do is come for revenge, knowing he just lost to this man. Like, this man destroyed him. And what does he want to do? He wants to fight him again. And of course, you guys know the story with that. He shows up to Earth, Trunks shows up, another Super Saiyan, and instead of walking away, he fights him. Knowing damn well what a Super Saiyan can do to him, he still fights him, he gets chopped up, and then pff, he's gone. But of course, the saga isn't done there just yet, because what happens next is he comes back in Dragon Ball Super. He gets revived by the Dragon Balls because they wanted to fix the Frieza army because it was all in chaotic state. And what does he do? He wants to go fight Goku again. But at least this time he was smart enough to go back and kind of train up and get stronger. But still, there's so many smarter ways he could have gotten revenge. He could have easily just like flown next to Earth, blown it up, and gotten his revenge and walked away. But instead, he wants to fight Goku. He's like, you know what? I want to fight Goku. I want to get my revenge. He probably became that much stronger despite being told how strong Goku had become. He comes back to fight him again, and guess what? He dies again. So because of that, Frieza is easily one of the biggest fools in Dragon Ball history. Now the final two fools on my list will probably shock you guys the most, because you're probably going to think, what the hell, Rhymestyle? Why are those guys the biggest fools despite Pilaf existing, Frieza existing, and everybody else? And again, I want you to hear me out completely before you comment, and I'll explain to why these two are on my list. The next person on my list, of course, is the prince himself, Vegeta. Vegeta is easily one of the best characters in the series. Like, he has some awesome character development. He's one of the great strategists. He is awesome from start to finish. I feel like Vegeta's fan base is probably the second biggest one next to Goku, and the Goku fan base is pretty much equal. Like, Goku and Vegeta's fan base is toe-to-toe. He is easily one of the most fan favorites of the series. But at the same time, he's done a lot of foolish things throughout the series because of his pride. I mean, he challenged Frieza when he knew damn well he couldn't fight him. He was not a Super Saiyan, but he believed he was. He let Cell become perfect. Think about that. He let Cell become perfect so he can test out his own powers. He threatened basically the entire galaxy that way, and on top of it, he got his ass kicked for it. And then, of course, in the Buu arc, we see him get taken over by Babidi willingly just so he can fight Goku. And in the process, Majin Buu comes back, he threatens the entire universe again, and a bunch of foolish stuff. Now again, I will give Vegeta the props because he tried to fix a lot of his problems. He fought Majin Buu head on, he blew himself up, he done a lot of cool things in the series. He became easily one of the greatest allies in the series. I mean, he shows up to Earth to destroy it and becomes one of the best allies in the end. So ultimately, he's done a lot of good things. But at the same time, a lot of stuff he's done in the series was so foolish and very selfish at the same time. So because of that, he easily earns a spot on my list of biggest fools in Dragon Ball. And now, drum rolls, the biggest fool in Dragon Ball history according to my list of my own. Again, this is just my list, my opinion. I want you guys to basically comment below who you think is the biggest fool in Dragon Ball history and why. And based on how you define the word fool, the biggest fool on my list is, of course, none other than himself, Goku. Now again, this might be a big shocker to a lot of you guys because Goku is easily the most important character because no Goku, no Dragon Ball. Well, technically Bulma is the one who started it all because if there's no Bulma, there would be no Dragon Ball. But looking at Goku's character, he is kind of like the staple behind the series. And yet he's the #1 fool on my list. Why? Well, it's because he's done a lot of stupid things in the show. Pretty much that. I mean, for starters, the way Toriyama wrote Goku's character is he was written to be the selfish character that just loves to get stronger, and in the process, he kind of might be kind of a dick to others. He's given freaking Cell a senzu bean, he's fought people and endangered everybody around him just so he can do the fight. I mean, he almost destroyed the whole universe fighting Beerus just because he wanted to fight Beerus. Like, think about that. And on top of that, his character design is he has a foolish personality. Like, he's kind of an idiot, which is why we love him so much. He's so like powerful, yet he's so stupid and foolish at the same time. And because of that, I cannot have this list without putting Goku at the top of it. But to be fair, I will say this: if Goku wasn't a fool, then he wouldn't be an awesome character that he is. Because him being so foolish and stupid and slow in the head is what made him so awesome. And that's why we all loved him so much. I mean, yeah, he was powerful and cool, but at the same time, his own unique personality, being so calm and stupid, is what made him so great. And because of that, being a fool is not a completely bad thing. And I just want to toss it out there. Anyway, so that is my list of the biggest fools in Dragon Ball history. If you made it this far in my video, I want to hear from you guys on my own list. So let me know your thoughts. Do you agree, disagree with anybody I mentioned? On top of that, I want to hear from you guys as well. Comment below who you think is the biggest fool in Dragon Ball history. It could be Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super, even extended stuff like Dragon Ball GT, Xenoverse, whatever. Who is the biggest fool in Dragon Ball history and why? Comment below right now. Anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, make sure you leave a like down below. And just a little disclaimer, I did not make this video to knock any character. I just kind of want to put some little fun April Fool's video together for you guys to enjoy, so I'm not dissing your favorite character, just kind of want to toss it out there. Anyways, so hope you enjoyed the rest of your day. My name is Rhymestyle, and I will see all you awesome Super Sandwiches in the comment section below. Peace!